So we're going to take a look here at what is in the big beautiful bill. The House passed this on 5/22/2025, One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This bill reduces taxes, reduces or increases spending for various federal programs, increases the statutory debt limit, and otherwise addresses agencies and programs throughout the federal government. It is known as the Reconciliation Bill and includes legislation submitted by 11 House committees pursuant to provision of FY 2025 Congressional Budget Resolution Con-Res 14 that directs the committee to submit legislation to the House Budget Committee that will increase or decrease the deficit and increase the statutory debt limit by specified amounts. Reconciliation bills are considered by Congress using expedited legislative procedures that prevent a filibuster and restrict amendments in the Senate. And so that's what we're taking a look at is the bill, and it's full of inflation. It has a lot of inflation from what I see that I'm looking at in the bill, and it also allows for migrants from Cuba to get SNAP benefits. That's what it looks like. Title I, Committee on Agriculture. This title addresses a wide range of Department of Agriculture USDA programs, including by changing the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program SNAP and extending programs authorized by the Agriculture Improvement Act of 2018, commonly known as the 2018 Farm Bill. Subtitle, A Nutrition, Section 10001. This section prohibits USDA from increasing the cost of the Thrifty Food Plan based on reevaluation or update on the contents of TFP, the market basket of goods. Further, any annual adjustment to the cost of the plan must be based on Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers. There's a lot of things in here because it allows for illegal migrants. The One Big Beautiful Bill allows for illegal migrants to actually get SNAP benefits. As background, USDA created the TFP, the cost of purchasing a nutritionally adequate low-cost diet, which is used to determine maximum monthly benefits under the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. USDA calculates the cost of the TFP each year to account for food inflation. Hello, Emily Noble. Hello. Do you have something you would like to add into this? I am reading the comments, and we're discussing the One Big Beautiful Bill, which has nothing but inflation inside of it, and apparently it's already been passed, so there's not much we can do about it, so it causes further debt upon the American taxpayers. Maximum allotments are set at a monthly cost of the TFP for a four-person family adjusted for family size under a provision of the 2018 Farm Bill. USDA must reevaluate the market basket of goods every 5 years based on current food prices, food composition data, and consumption patterns and dietary guidance. This section expands the applicability of work requirements for SNAP recipients who are able-bodied adults without dependents, ABWDS. As background, these SNAP recipients have work-related requirements in addition to the general SNAP work registration and employment and training requirements. So they're requiring people to work who are receiving SNAP benefits, and right now that's the illegal migrants that are in the United States. They are working. Hello, Cassie Santos. Hello. Do you have anything you would like to add into the conversation? Please feel free to write it in the comment section. Specifically, the section amends the exemptions to this requirement. Can I pray for you? Then you read it out loud. Yes, you can pray for me and I'll read it out loud. I'll read what you wrote. I'll read what you wrote. Go ahead and pray. Lord God Almighty, help these people to be successful and live a long life. Help these people live a long life and be successful on YouTube. Protect them and help them. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Why, thank you. I hope I say what you wrote correctly. Yeah, if you guys want to say stuff and write stuff, I can read it all out loud. I would rather read what you guys write to me instead of finding something else that you're not interested in. Okay, amide okay, like amide. Yeah, but I just wanted to point this out, because of the fact that there's some problems within the um, big beautiful bill. the we the thing is, Donald Trump lied to everybody. When I read through the big beautiful bill, now it's already been passed. There's nothing we can do about it. But this section 1003, it passes everything off to the states. So which this means in section 1003, 10003, this section modifies the ABWD waiver program allowable state exemptions. Under current law, the ABAWD waiver program allows state exemptions based on an area having an unemployment rate of over 10% or insufficient number of jobs. So according to this section, it says that I think that people who are in insufficient areas for jobs, that they're eligible for SNAP benefits, but some states apparently don't understand this or get that part. The section amends the exemption to require the unemployment rate to be based on the rate for the county instead of the area. Further, the section repeals the provision that allows a state exemption if the area does not have a sufficient number of jobs. And so under current law, a state agency may exempt up to 8% of SNAP recipients from the ABAWD work requirements for each fiscal year. This section reduces the percentage of exemptions a state agency may provide each year so that the average monthly number of exemptions does not exceed 1% of covered individuals. SNAP recipients and certain individuals who are denied SNAP benefits due to their work requirements. Section 10004. This section limits the availability of the Standard Utility Allowance, SUA, for determining SNAP income eligibility. Specifically, only households that include an elderly or disabled member may be considered automatically eligible for SUA based on participation in the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program or a similar energy assistance program. As background, when determining a household's eligibility for SNAP, states consider the total shelter costs for a household, including the cost of utilities. States can use SUAs, which are standard amounts that represent low-income household utility costs in the state for local areas. Currently, all LIHEAP participants who receive a minimum benefit are eligible for the SUA for determining SNAP income eligibility. Section 10005. This section prohibits household internet costs, monthly subscriber fees from being used in computing the excess shelter expense deduction for the purpose of determining the size of the household SNAP benefits. Section 10006. This section establishes state matching fund requirements for the cost of SNAP program allotments. But the state has been telling everybody to go to the federal government because the state is saying that they don't have the money or the means to help people. It's up to the federal government. And right here in this section of One Big Beautiful Bill, it's passed it back to the states. Currently, the state match is 0%. Beginning in fiscal year 2028, any state that has a payment error rate that is less than 6% must contribute a 5% match for the cost of SNAP program allotments. I mean, this is confusing. I don't even know what they're talking about with that. A state with a payment error rate that is at least 6% but less than 8% must contribute 15%. At least 8% but less than 10% must contribute 20%, and 10% or greater must contribute 25%. It's not even saying what it's contributing. Is this money that they're contributing? Is it people they're contributing? Is it food they're contributing? They're not even saying what it is that they're contributing. They're not even saying what it is that they're contributing. There's absolutely nothing in here that states what the contribution is. If it's monetary contributions, taxpayer money contributions, I find this very confusing. This section modifies the general work requirements of the SNAP program to cover individuals who are over the age of 17 and under the age of 65. Currently, the general work requirements apply to individuals who are over the age of 15 and under the age of 60. It also exempts parents or members of the household with responsibility for the care of a child who is under age of 7, under the age of 6, under current law from requirements. Section 10009, this section requires state agencies under the SNAP national. I don't think there should be a work requirement for anybody who is receiving SNAP benefits. That's just my personal opinion, because then this is what they're doing. They are penalizing people who are already poor. And they're making them work a job that other people in the business sector would be getting paid maybe $25 or $30 for. So that's what they're doing right here, is they're penalizing people and saying that they have to work for getting food. They have to work for food. What was there a YouTube channel that said we'll work for food? Who was it that had that YouTube channel that said we'll work for food? This section requires state agencies under SNAP, National Accuracy Clearinghouse, to use each indication of a multiple issuance of SNAP benefits to prevent multiple issuances of other federal and state assistance program benefits. Section 10010. This section reduces the tolerance level to 0 for state to exclude small SNAP payment errors in the calculation of payment error rates. As background, the SNAP quality control system measures how accurately SNAP state agencies determine a household's eligibility and under the amount, and determines overpayments of benefits and underpayments. Under current law, the Food Nutrition Service must set a tolerance level for excluding small payment errors in the calculation of payment error rates, $56 or less in fiscal year 2024. This section requires that the calculation of payment error rate include all SNAP payment errors. Section 10011. This section eliminates the SNAP Nutrition Education and Obesity Prevention Grant Program, SNAP Ed. Oh, they've gotten rid of that, so they're not concerned about people being obese anymore. Section 10012. This section limits SNAP benefits to individuals who reside in the United States and are 1. U.S. citizens or U.S. nationals. 2. Aliens lawfully permitted for permanent residence as a immigrant, with exceptions. Number 2 is the one to look at there, with exceptions, because it's allowing illegal aliens with exceptions. Number 3, aliens who are Cuban citizens or Cuban nationals and meet certain requirements. So Cubans are allowed to get SNAP benefits, which military veterans and other people who are homeless are not eligible to get these benefits. Number 4, individuals who are lawfully residing in the United States in accordance with the compacts of free association between the United States and Micronesia and the Marshall Islands and Palau. Are these territories of the United States? I don't know, but they are allowing for illegal migrants to get SNAP benefits. It doesn't say what the exceptions are. So we are paying for people to get benefits that we can't get. Currently, SNAP eligibility extends to additional individuals who are classified as an alien under federal law. Let's read that part again. Currently, SNAP eligibility extends to additional individuals who are classified as an alien under federal law, including an alien who has qualified for conditional entry under the asylum and refugee laws. I don't believe we have any asylum and refugee issues taking place in the world right now. Section 10013. This section extends funding for Emergency Food Assistance Program, TEFAP, through fiscal year 2031, TFAP. Food commodities, cash support for storage and distribution costs through states to local emergency feeding organizations and food banks. Hang on a second. Okay, let me see here. Okay, Subtitle B, Reinvested in Rural America, Section 10101. This section amends and extends commodity support programs. For example, the section extends to Price Loss Coverage Program and Agriculture Risk Coverage Program and Dairy Margin Coverage through crop year 2031. It also modifies various requirements for the programs. The section also extends the suspension of permanent price authority through crop year 2031 for commodities other than dairy and through December 31st, 2031 for dairy. Further, this section addresses programs and issues such as marketing, loans, disaster assistance, and sugar programs, federal crop insurance and livestock indemnity program, and the establishment of a poultry insurance pilot program. A poultry insurance pilot program? What in the world is that? Does anybody know what a poultry insurance program is? So we are getting a new program of poultry insurance. This sounds like it's going to cost the taxpayers a lot more money. For example, this section provides for a number of changes to the dairy margin coverage DMC, which includes changing the definition of production history to remove the consideration of production at the time the dairy operation first registered to participate in the DMC program. Setting production history for the DMC program as the highest annual milk marketings for participating dairies during calendar year 2021, 2022, or 2023, raising the coverage limit to be the first 6 million pounds for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 premiums for the first 5 million pounds, and allowing producers to receive a 25% premium discount for a one-time premium election coverage calendar years 2026 through 2031. Section 10102. This section reauthorizes and extends funding for the following programs through fiscal year 2031. The Grassroots Source Water Protection Program, the Voluntary Public Access and Habitat Incentive Program, the Feral Swine Eradication and Control Pilot Program. Okay, so they're still getting rid of feral swine, maybe in Texas? How many states have feral swine other than a feral swine problem other than Texas? The Agriculture Conservative Easement Program, ACEP. So it's reauthorizing funding for this. The Agriculture Conservative Easement Program, I don't know what any of these programs are. The Environmental Quality Incentives Program, the Conservation Stewardship Program, the Rural Conservation Partnership Program, the Watershed and Flood Prevention Operations Program. This section also rescinds the unobligated funds that were provided for the ACEP, EQIP, CSP, and RCPP conservation programs as part of the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Now, as we continue to read through this big, beautiful bill, what happened to the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 actually reducing inflation when prices have actually still gotten higher? And according to this big, beautiful bill, it's actually funding a lot of things. It's getting rid of programs, I think, that have already been gotten rid of, maybe. That's kind of what I'm reading in some senses, that it's put programs in here that have already gone away or been defunded and put them in here and saying it's defunding them. I don't know. I mean, none of this makes any sense. Section 10103. This section directs USDA to conduct a program to encourage the accessibility, development, maintenance, and expansion of commercial exports markets for U.S. agriculture commodities. This section also provides $285 million in mandatory funding for the program for 2027 and each fiscal year thereafter. Section 10104, this section reauthorizes and provides funding for a number of USDA research initiatives. For example, this section provides special funds for the 1980 National Scholars Program for FY 2026 for student scholarships. This National Institute of Food and Agriculture Programs provides grants to the 1890 institutions, historically black colleges and universities that belong to the U.S. Land Grant University System for students who intend to pursue a career in the food and agriculture sciences. So the HBCUs have been funded under the agriculture program. This section provides the Specialty Crop Research Initiative worth $175 million in mandatory funding for the 2026. Currently, the program is funded at $80 million for each fiscal year. So they've over doubled the price. This section also provides funding for a competitive grant to assist in construction, alteration, acquisition, modernization, renovation, or remodeling of agriculture research facilities. This section extends and modifies the Secure Rural School Program. SRS is what that's called. Under the existing SRS program, states and counties containing federal land may receive payments from the U.S. Forest Service or the Department of Interior, respectively. This section extends the authority of the Forest Service and Interior to 1. Calculate and provide payments to the states and counties under the SRS program through fiscal year 2026, and 2. Initiate projects using funds provided by the program through 2028. It also extends the deadline to obligate those funds until the end of 2029. Fiscal year 2029, which would be September. This section rescinds specified unobligated funds that were provided by the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 for competitive grants to non-federal forest landowners and 2 state and private forestry conservation programs. Section 10106, this section reauthorizes and extends funding for the Bioenergy Program for Advanced Biofuels, Advanced Biofuel Payment Program, the Advanced Biofuel Payment Program through fiscal year 2031. So apparently somebody's being paid back something through the Advanced Biofuel Payment Program through 2031. The program, so the taxpayers are paying for this. The program provides payments to fuel producers to support and expand production of advanced biofuels not derived from cornstarch. Section 10107. This section provides additional funding for the Plant, Pest, and Disease Management Disaster Prevention Program for fiscal year 2026 and each fiscal year thereafter. This section provides additional funding for the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program for 2026 and each fiscal year thereafter. Under the Block Grant Program, USDA provides grants to the State Department of Agriculture to enhance the competitiveness of specialty crops, fruits, vegetables, tree nuts, dried fruits, horticulture, and nursery crops, including floriculture. This section also reauthorizes and extends funding. The bill does not say how much funding a lot of these programs are funding to begin with. How come it's not stating how much it actually is funding? Because it doesn't tell. It tells every once in a while what it's funding, but it doesn't actually say how much it's spending or how much more it's spending. It just says at the beginning that it's taking away some programs and then it's adding some that are going to cost more. This section reauthorizes and extends funding for the fiscal year 2026 for USDA to carry out the modernization and improvement of international trade technology systems and data collection on imports of organically produced agriculture products accepted into the United States. Well, okay, coming into the United States, that's going to be having a tariff on it under the tariffs, I would think. So this section reauthorizes and extends funding through 2026 for USDA to carry out the modernization and improvement of international trade technology systems and data collection on imports of organically produced agriculture products accepted into the United States. This section reauthorizes the Organic Certification Cost Share Program, which provides cost share assistance to producers and handlers of agriculture products who are obtaining or renewing their certification under the National Organic Program. This section reauthorizes what is the Organic Certification Cost Share Program? This section reauthorizes and extends funding through 2026 for the Multiple Crop and Pesticide Use Survey of Farmers. The USDA Office of Pest Management Policy conducts this survey to collect data for risk assessment, modeling, and mitigation for active ingredient. I wonder how much does the survey cost and what are they doing with the survey? I mean, it doesn't say anything or give any details about what is going on with that. Section 10108. This section increases funding for the National Animal Health Laboratory, or laboratory if we want to sound really nefarious. It's a laboratory. It's not a laboratory. It's a laboratory. The laboratory network. Well, wait a minute. Didn't we call the bathroom the lab at one time? Yeah, we have called it the laboratory. The toilet is the lab. Special increases in funding are also provided for the National Animal Disease Preparedness and Response Program and the National Animal Vaccine and Veterinary Countermeasures Bank. What in the world is this? 10108. Section 10108. This section increases funding for the National Animal Health Laboratory Network. Specific increases in funding are also provided for the National Animal Disease Preparedness and Response Program and the Animal Vaccine and Veterinary Countermeasures Bank. To me, this section is section 10108 actually kind of sounds to me like it is the usage of vaccinations in farm animals for fattening them up. That's the only thing I can conclude with that. when they fatten them up to go to market. This section extends and increases funding for the Sheep Production and Marketing Grant Program through fiscal year 2026. This program seeks to strengthen and enhance the production and marketing of sheep and sheep products in the United States. This section also extends the Pima Agriculture Cotton Trust Fund through December 31st of 2031, which provides assistance to reduce the economic injury to domestic manufacturers resulting from tariffs on cotton fabric that are higher than tariffs on certain apparel articles made of cotton fabric. Oh, that's interesting. So this provides assistance to reduce the economic injury to domestic Well, why does it go to the manufacturers? Because then the manufacturers get the money, but the consumer still has to pay the higher costs. Agriculture Wood Apparel Manufacturers Trust Fund through December 31st of 2031, which provides assistance to reduce the economic injury to domestic manufacturers resulting from tariffs on wool fabric that are higher than the tariffs on certain applied articles made of wool fabric. Wool Research and Promotion Program through fiscal year 2031, which provides grants to assist U.S. wool producers with improving the quality of wool, with developing and promoting the wool market, and Emergency Citrus Disease Research and Development Trust Fund through fiscal year 2031, which funds a program that aims to bring together scientists to find scientifically sound and financially sustainable solutions to Huanglongbing. That's what it says. Huang Huanglongbing, citrus greening and bacteria disease spreading by an insect that feeds on citrus. Title II Committee on Armed Services, Section 20001. This section provides additional funding for the 2025 to the Department of Defense, DoD, for the Marine Corps Barracks 2030 Initiative, the Defense Health Program, supplemental payments of basic allowance for housing to military personnel, and tuition assistance and child care assistance for members of the armed forces. Okay, now I didn't see this part in here. So this is how they do it. They put in that other garbage at the top, and then they don't tell us that the military is in here. So they always force this then related to throwing the military in here. So if we say we're against this is a gotcha moment thing. So if we say we're against the bill, then someone will say is, oh, well, you're against the United States military, or did you even read the bill? Well, I've just now gotten down here to this part. But they throw everything in together. They could just fund the military. But then they throw in all that other garbage, and so now they've got illegals coming into the United States under the big beautiful bill. I support our military. Why can't we fund them separately? They're appropriated anyway. The section also it doesn't say anything about veterans, though. There's nothing in here for helping veterans and homeless people or anything like that I see. The section also provides statutory authority to extend from 14 to 21 days eligibility for temporary lodging, TLE, for certain service members undergoing permanent change of station. So people should be able to find a place to live in 14 to 21 days. However, these soldiers are spending more money for rent than what they actually have coming in, because the costs of rent being $2,000, $3,000 a month is more. That's like 3 times their pay. Section 20002. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 for the shipbuilding industrial base and various naval shipbuilding activities. Section 20003. This section provides additional funding for the fiscal year 2025 for development of space-based missile intercept capabilities, military space-based sensors, and the continued development of ground-based missile defense system and related infrastructure. Section 20004, this section provides additional funding for the 2025 for various military weapon systems, including hypersonic air-to-air cruise and anti-ship missiles. Section 20005, this section provides additional funding for 2025 to expand the Small Unmanned Aerial System, UAS, industrial base to advance and use of artificial intelligence in these and other systems to support the integration of commercial development and military technology. Oh my gosh, things are going to get interesting. More so than what they've already been. The section also provides additional funding to finance loans and loan guarantees by the Department of Defense, DoD, Office of Strategic Capital. Section 20006, this section provides additional funding for the 2025 to replace current business systems, deploy automation, and deploy artificial intelligence to accelerate the audits of the DoD financial statements. Oh, well, they're auditing the Department of Defense is what this is reading as. Section 20007, this section provides additional funding for the fiscal year 2025 to modernize the capabilities of fighter transport and other military aircraft, prevent the retirement of certain fighter aircraft, e.g. the F-22, and 3, produce the next generation manned and unmanned aircraft. Section 20008. This section provides additional funding for the 2025 for nuclear defense resources and nuclear forces development and production. Section 20009. This section provides additional funding for the fiscal year 2025 for 1, various military exercises and infrastructure in the Indo-Pacific region, and 2, classified military space superiority programs. Well, that's interesting. So I don't know what a superiority program is. Section 20010, this section provides additional funding for the 2025 to enhance and modernize military depots and shipyards, and 2, Space Operations Command SOCOM equipment, SOCOM. Section 20011, this section provides additional funding for the fiscal year 2025 to support border operations, including deployment of military personnel. Section 20012, this section provides additional funding for the fiscal year 2025 for the Department of Defense, Office of Inspector General to monitor these activities for which funding is provided under this title. Section 20013, this section authorizes each military department to use funding under this title for military construction, land acquisition, and military family housing. Each military department must submit a Hello, Vinicius Luckman. Each military department must submit a detailed spending plan to Congress. Do you have anything you would like to write about, Vinicius? Do you have any questions or anything? I know you've been... What are we talking about? This is the Big Beautiful Bill. We are talking about the Big Beautiful Bill. I'm reading through it and explaining how there's a lot of inflation in the Big Beautiful Bill. Do you have any response that you would like to add, or any questions or anything? You mean dollar? Yes, American dollars, yes. We're talking about American dollars with the Big Beautiful Bill. The Big Beautiful Bill actually also allows for illegal migrants to use SNAP benefits, and they're required to work in the United States for receiving SNAP benefits. And so the Big Beautiful Bill is allowing for illegal migrants to be in the United States and get SNAP benefits, where American citizens and veterans and other people don't get the SNAP benefits. And so this is already in the Big Beautiful Bill, and the American taxpayers are paying for it, for services for other people to get things that we don't get. It was just kind of funny to think that all of this is led up to, and it was already happening, and it still is happening, and then the bill comes out and it tells us about what is already happening. Do you have any questions or anything? Section 20014. This section requires DoD and the National Nuclear Security Administration to submit a spending plan and subsequent expenditure reports to Congress for funding provided under this title. Did you have anything you wanted to write, Venetia Sluckman? Section 20015. This section prohibits any agreements that would require the payment of any funds provided under this title of September 30th of 2034. No questions? Do you have any comments or anything you would like to add? Title 3, Committee on Education and Workforce. This title makes various changes to the higher education, particularly to the federal student loan system. Subtitle A, Student Eligibility. This subtitle revises eligibility for federal student aid and the amount of aid students may receive. Section 30001. This section revises the citizenship categories that qualify a student for federal aid. This section specifies eligibility for certain nationals of Cuba and individuals who lawfully reside in the United States in accordance with Compact of Free Association, individuals from the Republic of Marshall Islands and Federated States of Micronesia or Republic of Palau. So it sounds like there are more migrants who are eligible to receive things that American citizens can't receive. Section 30002. This section changes the way student eligibility for needed-based federal aid is calculated by basing on the calculation on the median cost of attendance by program of study from institutions of higher education that offer such program of study rather than the cost of attendance of the student's specific program as determined by the IHE. The section also restores an exemption for certain family farms to small business on the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA. The exemption applies to the net worth of the family farm on which the family resides, or a small business with not more than 100 full-time or full-time equivalent employees that is owned and controlled by the family. Subtitle B, Loan Limits. This subtitle makes various changes to the federal student loans. Okay, I think I'm bored reading through this now. I'm probably going to end this video now because this is kind of boring. But oh, wait, this section terminates all current student loan repayment plans for loans dispersed on or after July 1st of 2026. All right, well, we'll see you guys next time.